What's up, everybody? It's your favorite buy all three repaints in one set's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the DX9 War in Pocket Stormtroopers. And this is Usurper being Starscream, Blue Bolt being Thundercracker, and Sky Hacker being Skywarp. Yikes. Okay, so that all the sort of formalities out of the way. Let's talk about the accessories. They each come with their two missiles, as we should come to expect. Sculpted accurately and well. It's a bit of a tight fit to get into the wing, but it will go. It's just not the easiest fit in the world. And they, the purple ones, obviously, the gray ones and the blue ones. We'll talk about detailings and we'll talk about them independently. It'll get relatively easier. So the purple rear wings have a black stripe painted on them on both, and it's painted fairly well. It's not perfect, but it's fairly clean. Of course, the two paint apps on the wings, we have purple and silver here, and then then we have some silver paint apps to the canopy. I haven't checked to see if the canopy opens. It doesn't. It looks like it might. I don't think it does. I'll check on other ones. This is on loan to me from Robert D. I should also say that. Between him and Ace, I'm able to look at most of the Legends figures, so I'm very appreciative of both those gentlemen. I also noticed that you can have the arm kind of like this, or you can kind of fold the arm back into here and sort of hold it to play with. I would have loved something like this when I was a kid. Like I often found myself, hating to hold it like this. I don't know why. Just a personal thing, I guess. And then we have some silver paint underneath, which we'll look more at in robot mode. There's also something else I want to add that I didn't do a good enough job explaining, so I'm cutting this in. When you have this arm up like this, you want to have these pieces on the kneecaps folded down, and that will provide your 3-point landing gear. And you can straighten that out a bit. Make sense? So it's the same for this paint application-wise, except, this has two. Never mind, disregard. This only has the one. So we have the silver and red there, silver and red there, silver on the canopy, and then some more paint here, red and silver on the chest. Pretty well done. These might be my favorite DX9 Legends to date, but more on that later. Same here, so this matches Starscream fairly well. Nice. So that's them. They look cool to me anyway. I guess I can bring out a size comparison. They're almost the size of the old Deluxe, I feel like, the Hasbro one. But, they're pretty, pretty decent size. So let's get one transformed. Now, I'm doing this for the first time on camera. I know some people feel a way about that, and sorry. But the reason why I'm doing it is because these come packaged in jet mode. I looked at the instructions. The instructions show from robot mode back to jet mode. So I looked over the instructions, and I'm trying to use my intuition to see just how efficient I can be, having looked at the instructions one time and trying to view them in reverse. So let's take these off. You'll notice that they'll come out at different eases depending on how well you got them in. Open these up here, and then you flip this whole section up. A lot of this, well, that's not entirely fair. A fair amount of this reminds you mainly the wings of the Hasbro ones, or the old Chug ones. These legs come down, and then these feet come down, and I'm trying to, there you go. And then these panels rotate down on a double hinge. And there's some tolerance concerns there. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just this pin was especially tight. Okay. Flip these up, give yourself some room here to, these are small little tabs also that plug in there, something else to be mindful of. Break this away, poor choice of words, I'm sure. And you want to rotate these arms out and around. Same on this side, and you can tell I just pulled the hand out there. That just plugs right back in. Let's orient the arm so that we know which way they go. And we'll plug that back in. It's just on a little peg. These come down and spin inwards. This head comes up and spins around. This comes down and fills in there. Not unlike the G1. We'll do the same for this. And then these come back up and plug back in. And this back piece comes up and closes down the head. And that is the transformation. I'm gonna get them cleaned up. I'm gonna put the null rays on them and we'll take a look at them. Okay, so while I was cleaning up, I did find one thing that's worth pointing out. Just make sure that these pieces do kind of encompass this midsection here. So if it's out and around, let me try to show you. So it's like this, bring it down and then kind of sandwich that middle piece with these two pieces. And then you'll find that it fits a bit better on his back and you can't really see it from the front. So that's worth noting for sure. So the head is on a swivel. You do get a little bit of hinge here, but only to look up, so that doesn't really help you much. The head, the face is painted silver. It's an expression, but I don't know if it's an appropriate expression for Starscream. Now I guess you can't really swap out the faces because the other ones are different colors. So I don't know. I'm not crazy about that. The head sculpt though is pretty good for the most part. The eyes look great as well. So this is a flat red, this is painted red, that's painted silver, and then this is painted red down here. No waist swivel, obviously, because of the way it transforms. The head, the arms, the shoulders rather, are on ball pegs. They're actually on hinges. You can get them up a little bit even with these things locked into place. And then, of course, the swivel until you bump into the wings. No bicep swivel, but you do get a swivel at the elbow, and I figure this small, it doesn't really impinge it at all, so just using the bicep swivel or the elbow swivel just works fine. And then it gets you a little bit past 90 degrees as well, so no problems there. And then you can use the ball pegs to get your shoulders out to there. So all that works pretty well. And then you have silver paint here on the guns. It's pretty cool. The head does sit fairly back on the top of his chest there. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is slightly off-putting. One caveat I have to add to that is you see the head here is on this pin. The pin does slide, and that places the head forward a bit. It does help, but it doesn't help enough. Like there's still a significant amount there, but it certainly does help. And like I said, it's ultimately, or like I will say, depending on where I cut this in, it's ultimately not that big of a deal in the first place. The hips are on ball pegs, T-jointed ball pegs, get you the full Van Damme, and almost the full Monty. Knee, thigh swivel, separate piece, that's nice. We have a single jointed knee that gets you 90 degrees, and then the ankles have a tilt down, a slight tilt up, a toe hinge, and it's on a ball peg here, so it rocks as well a taste. So that's nice. A lot of times I feel like Legends overlook the rockers, and as a result, cash in some of their articulation. So it's a pretty well done little thing. It might be my favorite DX9 Legend anyway, thus far. So the faces are a lighter shade of silver. All the face sculpts look similar. I don't know if they're identical, but they definitely look similar. And then we have the two shades of silver for the chest, and then the whatever those propeller things on the inside. So all that stuff, it looks good. I like seeing the white too. The white does contrast against the silver though, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But it's not distracting from a distance, I'd say. But it is a weird choice. But all in all, yeah, they're pretty cool. Size comparison wise, there he is next to Hasbro's Power Glide. Final thoughts wise, let's talk about the issues. It's just a couple. No waist swivel. I think when it comes to Legends, we usually either lose out on a waist swivel, or we lose out on ankle rockers, or we lose out on both. So at least we didn't lose out on both. The mismatch paint here between the white choice and then the silver is a little weird. Obviously not as bad with the red and more understandable. And the tolerance of these little shin flaps could be a bit better. But all in all, I like this set a lot. I like the amount of paint that they have. Even this one has silver on his rays too. I wonder why Skywarp didn't get them. See, that's strange to me too. I feel like Skywarp was always treated like the outcast. I mean, he couldn't sell at Walmart. Walmart. I bet you if he transformed into a chair, he would have sold. He's always been my favorite as well. I think the price is great. I think it averages out to be like 16 bucks a figure or something, which is pretty cool. I like the engineering, but what I like more about the engineering is like, how many Seekers have we seen throughout our life, you know, and they still find a way to do something different. And I do like that. They've been doing some really interesting stuff with their engineering recently between the Dinobots and these guys, so I definitely applaud that. And I think the sculpts work overall. You know, they look like the Seekers, they look good together, which is what's most important. The head sitting a bit back is a bummer, but outside of that, I mean, I think it pretty much works. If you're into Legends and you want a set of Seekers, I can't think of a better set to recommend. So yeah, I definitely recommend these. All that being said, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Till next time, take care.